Hey everyone, okay, so today's video is my daytime and nighttime skincare routine. I think you'll like it. Now, about 6 weeks ago or so, I was watching a YouTube video and I came across a video of a YouTuber who was showing, her day and evening skincare routine. And this video was so long and it had so many products. And it made me think that if you didn't have the job you had, would you really be using this many products at this entire cost? Because it was like $700 worth of products. And if you didn't have that job that afforded you all this, would you still use it if you had a normal job like everyone else? So this is what this video is about and why I decided to change my skincare routine. Now, before we move on, I'm going to put a timestamp so for those of you who want, you can jump straight forward to the video at hand. But before that, I'd like to give a couple of honorable mentions. Now, the first one is the title to this video. Now, for some reason, this video was recommended to me and I'm really pleased that it was. And I wanted to mention it because I love the title of this gentleman's video so much that I wanted to use it almost in this video. But at the same time, I felt bad about using that without at least giving this guy credit, and you need to give credit. Now, his name is Damon Dominique. And he did a video called How I Keep My 28-year-old Skin and One Wrinkle Moisturized. I loved that title so much and I wanted to use something very similar for this one. So I want to give him a shout out as well so that I'm acknowledging that I loved his video and his title so much. So I wanted to give that mention. Now the second one is about a month ago or so, I was speaking to Mel Thompson, obviously, who I think is just wonderful. And I don't know what we were speaking of, but it was probably something along the lines of how neither of us are interested in engaging in anything negative. And while we were speaking of that, she mentioned a friend of hers, her best friend, called Kelsey Brianna J. And she said to me, you will like her because she is kind and she is lovely. So I Instagrammed her and messaged her and said, listen, I'd like to give you a shout out in a video. And this is that video. Now, Kelsey, like me, has been on YouTube for a very long time now. And I watched some of her videos. And if you will, in fact, I'm subscribed to her videos. And if you are to watch her channel, you will understand the amount of work that she puts into her channel. And oftentimes, that work isn't rewarded in the same way that you would see with other YouTubers who have sky-high subscriber rates and things like that. And from watching her videos, you can see that she's a very, very nice person. And if you would like to, and I hope that you would like to, then you can absolutely subscribe to her. And her information is in the description bar below. And if Mel Thompson says she's a good person, she's a good person because Mel Thompson is a good person. So please check her out. Now, the other one is a lovely lady called Kaylee June. And she doesn't know I'm making this, but I wanted to share it because it's so cool. She does a YouTube channel that's dedicated to photoshopping beauty photography. So she's a photographer and she's a whiz at Photoshop. Now, I don't use Photoshop because I don't know how to use it and I'm not paying £30 a month subscription to it, especially when many years ago you could just buy the whole package. I think it's outrageous, but she goes into the minute detail of how you create that most beautiful picture. You know, the ones that we all click on, the ones that look too good to be true. She's an absolute genius when it comes to Photoshop, and the work looks phenomenal and realistic. So her information is down there too. Okay, let's get on with the video. So, as I mentioned, complicated skincare routines that cost a fortune. I am guilty myself because I recommend a lot of products, and these products that I recommend, I believe, are incredibly good. But you don't need every single one, and you don't have to spend $900 on a cocktail of products just to apply to your face. So in this routine, I'm going to show you what my true daytime and nighttime skincare routine is. So let's make a start. So in the morning, all I do is wash my face. Now, this is the cleanser I use, and it looks like it's a Dermalogica bottle, but it isn't. Inside here is actually the cleanser by Drunk Elephant. And I like to use the body cleanser by Drunk Elephant, and I use that on my face. The reason I like to use it on my face, because you get a lot of product in there for a smaller price margin. It's very good on the face. You need very little product and it takes off makeup and sunscreen and all of that. But I just love the Dermalogica bottle. I like the size of it, so that's what I use. That's it. That's all I use to cleanse my skin with. Occasionally, I will also use a flannel, but that's for the evening. Now in the daytime, all I do is put on sunscreen. That is it. I don't like anything else on my skin other than sunscreen during the day. My skin is very oily, it gets very oily, it gets very shiny. The last thing I need is to layer different products on that. And I do not buy into the, if you've got oily skin, you need to use lots of oil to counteract it. Personally, for me, I don't buy into that and I don't enjoy it in the daytime. I just use sunscreen and I use the recommended amount as well, which is a lot of product. So in this container here of the sunscreen that I use, this is going to last me approximately 40 days. And that is it. That's my daytime routine. Now, if I'm going out somewhere and I want to look a fraction more delicious than I look normally, I'll do what I've done to my face here, which is I put on a tiny bit of blusher because I think faces look more beautiful when there's color in them. That's all I do in the day. I don't do anything else. Don't care for foundation on my skin or anything like that. So let's move on to the evening. Evening comes, so this is what I do. I wash my face with the same cleanser. Oftentimes at this step, I will use a flannel if I think it's necessary and if I think my skin can tolerate it. Now, moving on to the most important step, prescription strength tretinoin. Now, it is a very strong product. Even at the lowest strength, it's very strong, but the lowest strength is still higher than any other retinol product that you can buy over the counter or in any other skincare active that you may have. So I prefer to use a prescription strength product. Now I apply a decent amount of this. I don't buy into the grain of rice all over the face because a grain of rice does not spread all over your face. I use a decent amount of product, around about just over the size of a pea, and I apply that all over my skin, including underneath the eye area as well. I use that as my eye cream. The reason I use this is because this is the one product that has been clinically proven to work for acne and for wrinkles. This is why I use it. I'm 42 years old. It is important that I use something that is going to give me the most bang for my buck. Now, using prescription strength products like these come with risks, and the risk being that the side effects of this are incredibly harsh. You can get red skin, dry skin, peeling skin, scaling skin, sore skin, red skin. Did I mention red, sore, peeling, scaling skin? You can absolutely get that. Now what I do with this product is after I've washed my face, I wait about 30 minutes, then I apply the product to my face. Then I wait another 30 minutes. And at this point, this is when I go in, and sometimes I'll wait an hour. And at that point, I then go in with an emollient over it. Now what's the word I'm looking for? There's no in particular brand that I favor over one another. I'm happy to choose whatever I have at hand and use that, and when that's finished, I use something else. But generally what I do is I either apply a heavy-based moisturizer or an oil to my skin. And I do that because the side effects from prescription strength tretinoin are incredibly harsh. And even on skin that's used to it like mine, it's still very harsh. And without it, I went a couple of days without it and I noticed the dryness, particularly underneath my eyes, and the redness. It is easier on the skin when you do something like this. Now, of course, you can mix products if you want. You can mix a bit of tretinoin in with an oil or a moisturizer in order to buffer. But generally speaking, I find it works better to apply it onto dry skin first and then apply a heavy-based moisturizer. Now, the one I'm currently using is by Dr. Sam Bunting, who I really, really think is lovely. She makes incredible products. Her product is the Flawless Moisturizer. It's a heavy-based moisturizer, contains a lot of good ingredients. And because the prescription strength tretinoin just contains that, there's no other antioxidants or anything else added to it. This product then gives my skin the other nutrients that it needs in order to be healthy and function well. Or I will use an oil. I don't use both because I don't need to use both, but sometimes if my skin's feeling very, very dry, an oil can be very soothing. I do tend to stick to the same oil. That's just my preferred preference. I really like the Drunk Elephant Marula oil. I think it's great, but Good Molecules do amazing oils as well. And Good Molecules are a very good company, and a very good company line, product line. They're actually created by Beautylish, but I'm going to be doing a video on that in another point. That is my routine. I think it is a very simple routine, it is a very easy routine, and it's relatively affordable compared to a lot of the other routines we see out there, and it's realistic. I'm using one single product that really does work. I don't use any chemical or liquid exfoliants at all. Now that's a lie. Once in a blue moon, I will exfoliate my skin, but generally speaking, a flannel is enough, a washcloth is enough in order for me to get off any dead skin that may be there. I find that adding in a chemical exfoliant, a liquid exfoliant, AHA, BHA, PHA, with tretinoin use is too much for my skin, and I don't want to overly irritate it. And I do notice a difference when I combine them both. My skin gets more irritated and it feels more irritated. And my skin is prone to getting red, as I have with my pink ears. I get very red skin very easily. That is my routine. I'm 42 years old and this is what I use. I do not use Botox or fillers. I have done in the past many, many years ago, and I've spoken about it, but I no longer do. It's my personal choice to not use that stuff. For me speaking, it helped me incredibly with chronic headaches, Botox, but then it took over and it was a vanity project. What can I do to have smoother skin? The truth is Botox did give me a smoother forehead, but that's all it gave me, and it didn't make me look a day younger than I really was. I just had a very big, shiny forehead. So I choose not to use any of that stuff anymore. Now, I'm not opposed to it. I think it's absolutely amazing and is definitely recommended to a lot of people, particularly if you're really looking out for minimizing wrinkles. It can do an incredibly good job at that. Now, before I end this video, I want to talk to you about wrinkles, because people think that wrinkles are what makes you look old, and they're not. You can take a picture of somebody in their 40s, 50s, 60s, however old they are, and airbrush out just the wrinkles. Take all the wrinkles away. They do not look younger. Wrinkles are not the only thing that make you look older. The main cause of skin aging, at least when we see it with our eyes, is pigmentation of the skin. I'm not talking freckles. I'm talking that mottled look that happens when you spend way too much time throughout the course of a life in the sun. And when you remove the pigmentation from the skin, the sun damage from the skin looks more, it looks younger, it looks more youthful. And that to me is more important than ever worrying about a wrinkle on my face. Now, generally speaking, I look after my skin relatively well, and at rest, with no facial movement, I don't have very many visible wrinkles. When I move and smile and jolt my face around, I have wrinkles that move. Your skin moves. You're going to get skin creasing and all that stuff. I'm 42. My skin is going to move unless I do something to it, but I'm not willing to. I'm quite happy being 42. I'm quite happy looking like I'm 42. But what I care about is that I'm able to maintain my skin to the best of my ability as I get older, without having to resort to lots of different steps that I personally am not ready for at this particular moment. And that's my skincare routine. It's very simple. It's very, very easy. And I know that a lot of people find the whole wrinkle thing quite difficult to understand, but if there are a lot of people that do believe that wrinkles are what what give you that old look, and wrinkles do contribute to that, but they're not the only thing. There's a loss of bone, a loss of muscle, a loss of fat tissue, sagging of the skin, a whole host of things that go into why we look older. But wrinkles are not the only thing, and they shouldn't be the one thing we focus on. If we can work on trying to get the most beautiful, luminous skin that we can possibly get, that will go an incredibly long way into looking more youthful. I cannot tell you the amount of people that I've come in contact with during my life and with the stuff that I do for a living who have absolutely no wrinkles, and they're in their 50s and older, wrinkle-free, but they don't look a day younger than their age because they're focusing on the wrong thing. Instead of focusing on clearing the pigment, keeping the skin as luminous and as beautiful as they can, instead they're focused on the wrinkles, and as they go out and sunbathe and create all this damage to the skin, which you just, at a certain point, it becomes irreparable. So there you go, my skincare routine: cleanser, a washcloth, SPF, prescription strength retin-a, and a moisturizer or an oil. I think it's a relatively realistic routine, and it certainly is for me, and I hope you like it. Let me know what your skincare routine is right down there in the description bar. I hope it's nice, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.